All right. Well, first of all, you got to forgive the mess. We're still moving in, and a lot of this is Rachel's stuff, but she has gotten a lot of it out of there. We just need to get a lot more of it out of here and clear the room and paint the floor and everything, which I'm just going to unbolt the thing when I do it. But anyways, this is a commercial Torx weight rack or squat rack, I should say. And I was able to get this thing and 2 20-pound kettlebells and a 20-pound medicine ball and a landmine. You can see right there. Used all for $350. Oh, and that also came with 2 A-frame weight racks. Right. So there's the second one. So getting all this set up. And of course, I got my dumbbell rack over there, which thank God it's no longer holding clothes. That really, really killed me in my apartment. I had a 1-bedroom apartment that was 610 square feet, and that thing had clothes on it, and it just killed me every day that I saw it. But anyways, so this is, like I said, a commercial weight rack. So I was thinking I was going to have to drill all the way through my block wall, which is fine. But the problem is when you're drilling through block wall, especially when there's stucco on the outside, which there is on this, if you hit a spot that is not adhered correctly, which all this stuff should be, it's brand new construction. Had this built, just moved in last month, and they did use a binder and all that stuff for the outside before they put the stucco on. So that's, or bonding agent, I should say. So that's good. But I found, these are Titan HT bolts, the threaded bolts for concrete. So I think these have been around for a while, but all right, you can see that the tips of these are jagged. So they bite into the concrete, and the tips of these are hardened, while the rest of it is malleable. So it won't break off. It won't be brittle, right? So that's another cool feature of these. These have been out, I think, for quite a while. Yeah, these are pretty solid. And apparently you can only get them at Lowe's because Home Depot didn't have them, which is weird. So they must have had the contract with Lowe's. But and I'm sure you can buy them online for probably cheaper. But yeah, these are pretty good. This is a 3-inch version. This is what I'm using on the floor because the concrete in the floor is 5 inches thick, I want to say. So definitely don't want to punch through that barrier. So, and again, on the ones on the floor, we're only looking at these as shear pins. We're not worried about them pulling straight out, right? So we're only looking at shear forces. So 3 inches is plenty. Probably one of the only times in life where 3 inches is plenty. Giggity. Gone are the days that you use the ones that use pressure on the concrete. So the downside of those is they put expansive force on your material, right? And they only hold so much weight. So your tension force, which is how much it takes to pull it straight out. You have tension force, you have shear force, which is how much it would take to break this, right? If you're putting a perpendicular force on it, and let's say you had a table here, you're putting force on it here, shear strength would be that, right? So I looked these up, and it was funny, I showed my partner Rachel, and I was like, look, all this stuff to a guy like me, like I said, civil engineer and all that stuff, is like porn. Like it really is like porn for me, right? Like I get the math behind it. So I was like, okay, what is the tension force on this? And what is the shear force on this? So I think I posted on Facebook, and I did screw up. I said, as long as you don't have them closer than 4.5 inches, that's from edge to edge. So it's actually 9 inches. You don't want them closer than 9 inches together. So minimum distance between the bolts should be no more than 9 inches to keep the same tension force. If you put them closer than that, you're going to minimize it, and the tables and tests and charts will show all that. So you can get all that information if you Google it. So basically what the charts show and the data shows is that as long as they're screwed in at least 4 inches, the tension force on these is 4,000 pounds, and that's in 2,500 psi concrete, which is technically should be residential construction for the most part. I want to say commercial is 3,500 pounds or psi, but it's been a while, so don't quote me on that. In fact, don't quote me on anything in this video. Look it up yourself, damn it. But yeah, 2,500 PSI concrete, which should be what everything up there is poured, theoretically. You know, hopefully they did a slump test on everything. I doubt they did. Most people don't. But yeah, if you don't want to know what a slump test is, look it up. So basically you have something, and like I said, it's been a while. You have an upside down conical apparatus. You fill it with concrete. You put it down. It's got a measurement on it. It's usually, I want to say 12 inches high. And then depending on how much it slumps when you take it down, like how much it decreases, that is your slump test. So it would take over 4,000 pounds of force to pull this straight out of the wall. Now, the shear strength is about 1,535 pounds or something like that. So it would take 1,500 pounds or 3/4 of a ton to shear this bolt head, okay? Well, this is a weight rack. So you are gonna have dynamic forces, right? You're gonna have people slamming weights into it, and I get that. And really it's gonna be me and maybe some friends, but so let's say, I did the math on this. Let's say you have 700 pounds on your barbell, right? And the way I figure, let's say 4 inches of travel over 0.2 seconds. So you figure out the speed of that. So force equals mass times acceleration. With 700 pounds, it's going to be about 363 pounds. Now, here's the thing. With 0.1 seconds, instead of 0.2 seconds, it's going to be close to 1,400 pounds. Well, no one's going to slam 4 inches over 0.1 seconds. That's really, really fast. And no one's going to do that. So end all be all of it is, we're good. These are going into, I lucked out. Well, I didn't luck out. I mean, I knew this one was going to be fine. So this is in a poured concrete beam, and the top is all poured concrete and rebar. And then this side is also just happens to be in a poured concrete beam and rebar. So every 3 to 4 feet, you have to do that in Florida, because otherwise block is really brittle and it will, with wind loads and everything else, it can break. So you pour concrete in the cores of the block every 3 to 4 feet. I think the code is every 4 feet, but it depends. Like there's 26 windows in this house. So there's a lot of windows, and this is just the garage. And you can see there's a lot of windows, which is, you know, pros and cons. So yeah, these bolts are 6 inches. I think we're good. I think it's going to be fine. Well, I know it will be fine because mathematically it will be fine. And this is why I operate the way I do, because I need to know things mathematically. I don't use rules of thumb. I don't guess on things. I need to do the math and know for a fact. And I wish more people worked that way, but they don't. They just assume or guess, or, you know, they're not sure and all that crap. And I'm like, Basic. What a way to live, not knowing. That must be awful. I can't imagine living that way. But yeah, got a few more bolts to put in to get this all together. And then, so for example, if you notice, this is obviously less. This is a 6-inch bolt. So this is obviously less than 9 inches apart, right? Well, we don't have to worry about that because we're not worried about pulling this out of the ground, tension force straight this way. We're worried about shear strength, right? So 1,500 pounds, and shearing is really the molecular structure coming apart. It's really cool if you ever look up videos of what that actually looks like, especially with steel. It is like super close-up images. It's really cool. At least for me, it is. So anyways, yeah, we're not worried about the distance with decreasing with the tension strength, because that is the case. I want to say over 6 inches, it would only be, it's less than 3,000 pounds of tension strength. But that's fine, because for here, we're looking at shear strength, right? We want to look at the forces that are operated this way. So 1,500 pounds, it doesn't matter the difference or the decrease in tension strength, or tension force, I should say. I think we're good. But yeah, it was fun. It was really fun breaking out, because I haven't done anything in civil engineering for quite a while. And I was definitely rusty, but it was really cool to get those juices flowing again and doing all the math on that stuff. So it's good stuff, guys. And this is what I'm talking about, man. Build up your skill sets. Actually do things in life. Like, you know, I get the whole point of being an expert at one thing, and that's cool. Like, that is cool. And if you're one of those people, good for you. That is awesome. But I've run into quite a few of those people, and they tend to be really, really, really good at what they do and kind of drop the ball on everything else, because the human brain can only hold so much. So, and you can only focus on so many things at one time. So, of course, why wouldn't you be, a little bit less inclined, let's say, for other things when you are specializing one thing? So this is why I preach to people to, it's better to do as many things as you can in life, as long as you have the interest in it. I happen to be one of those people that have a thirst for knowledge, and I'm interested in a lot of things. Not everyone's like that, and that's okay, but that is me. Yes, I could be like the last person and just be a jock, and that's fine. But I have chosen a much different path that is much richer and fuller, right? Instead of being part of a tiny little group, although I guess being in the military for 10 years, that is part of a tiny little group compared to the population, I've chosen a broader, richer lifestyle. But that doesn't mean that I can't enjoy lifting weights and all that stuff and being a jock. That doesn't mean I can't enjoy getting into that mindset and using the genetics that I have to be that person. But what that does mean is that I have a much deeper understanding of things than people like the last person, right? Like I said, it's not that she's not surrounded by educated people. The people that she's surrounded by are educated in their fields, but they don't have education in the broad spectrum of things that I have education in. And that's not a brag. I will tell you straight up that there are days that I wish I had stuck with a high school diploma and just been a jock and just been ignorant of how things work, on a nuanced level. And the more I learn, the more I realize I tell people I know enough that I know that I don't know shit about shit. And that is really the reality of it at the end of the day. But anyways, that went off on a tangent. Yeah, good stuff. I can't wait. And landmine installed. Put the end of the bar in there. Do your rows, whatever else. Double articulating. It's good.